It's really funny. I'm 74 years old, and I was sitting here thinking, what can I possibly add here on TikTok that's going to be interesting or informational to people who are, a third of my age? And I started thinking about my life, and different things that had happened. And I know there are a lot of people here on TikTok who share their life stories, their adventures, and as an older person, and people seem to enjoy that. And it was funny, I started scrolling through my life in my brain, and I could think of all the travels I've done and the people, the places I've been and the things I've experienced. And I've done some incredible things. I've traveled to so many countries. I've had wonderful experiences, good and bad. And I've learned lots of lessons. I've been in situations that were magical, and I could share those stories. But when it really got down to it, it was the people. When I started thinking about the things that have influenced me most in my life, all that came beaming through in my consciousness were the individuals who, for one reason or another, totally changed my life. For example, I'm just rambling on here, but the person that I had a boyfriend, when I was early 20s, and we were celebrating Christmas together, and we were driving down the road, and there was this person standing by the road, and they weren't really hitchhiking, but they were just kind of standing there. And he pulled over, said, "How you doing? Are you okay?" And they just were alone for Christmas, and we said, "Well, come on, jump in the car. We'll take you, and we'll just go to a restaurant and have some food together." And we did, and that person stayed with me in my mind forever. I don't know why. Why? An individual, maybe it was just the fact that we stopped, and we learned actually so much from them. They were a fascinating person, actually, I remember. Then I think about people in my professional life that have changed my life. I won't mention any names because they're still here, and I don't want to reveal too much, but people that were at Microsoft I worked with that just made my life completely different, transformed it. I think about Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who I worked with for years on Death and Dying, and the amazing lessons I learned from her. I think about my ex-husband, and even though we were only together for 20 years, I think about how much I learned from him and just how amazing person he was and still is, and but not with me. And then I think of my children, and I am so proud of my two children who have lived their lives in such an incredibly different but beautiful way. And they are both so close to me, even though they're completely different. I used to call them my sun and the moon. They were that different as children, but now they're different as adults, and I adore them. And I think about my people in my 60andMe community. There's so many that have come to the surface, people that have stood by me through different situations, and how precious they are. Anyway, the point I'm making with this short video is just that it's the people. It's the people that make a difference in your life, not the cities you've been to or the jobs you've done or the places you've been. It's the